WXCO 98.9, Wausau's real news and great conversation. Here's your Daily News Roundup.
For WXCO News, I'm Isabella Nieto. Specialized suicide prevention trainings are now available in the Hmong language. The newly translated materials come from a collaboration between local Marathon County organizations, the County Health Department, and Aspirus Health.
We do want to keep the core training there, but then while doing the training to ensure that it was culturally relevant to the audience that is taking the training.
That's Bee Lore, a program manager with the Hmong American Center, which helped develop the translated training program. She says when information is provided in a person's native language, it's not just about understanding words, it's about building trust.
They feel valid knowing that materials that are this important are also translated into the Hmong language.
The trainings are developed and distributed by the QPR Institute. QPR stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer.
The QPR training focuses on is like the direct questioning someone when they're thinking of dying by suicide. It's harder to just have someone directly ask someone that's Hmong if they want to die by suicide.
Lore says in the Hmong community, it's taboo to talk about death, and it's considered disrespectful to directly ask whether a person is considering suicide. She says the Hmong American Center worked with their partners to make sure the translated trainings were culturally appropriate and linguistically accurate.
The hardest part is for having things translated into the Hmong languages, we tend to more describe versus actually translating word for word. One person can say something and another person can say something in completely different words, but they have the exact same meaning.
To take a training or become an instructor, visit qprinstitute.com. The Wisconsin State Climatologist's Office is looking for input on how to prepare rural areas for changes in climate and extreme weather. Amanda Latham is an outreach specialist for the climatologist's office.
We've organized this series of road shows in rural parts of Wisconsin because we want to hear from people living in rural Wisconsin about what types of extreme weather they're seeing, what types of weather changes that they're seeing, how those things are impacting them, whether that's for their career or whether that's just impacts in their daily life.
Their first road show in Rhinelander on Tuesday saw around 40 residents. Latham says attendees included public works employees, emergency management, and representatives from tribal nations.
We really just want to hear from those rural places that often don't get as much attention as those larger cities where there are more people to really talk about those impacts and see those impacts, as we really want to focus on what's happening in rural Wisconsin.
The state climatologist's office is working on several tools to help residents better understand the climate in their area and changes that could be coming. These tools are aimed at building weather resiliency, helping communities be better prepared for changes in the climate and extreme weather. Latham says one project, spearheaded by UW-Madison, is expanding a network of weather and soil monitoring stations across Wisconsin called WXCO.
So that's helping fill in some data gaps so people don't have to rely on data that's coming from the airport, which may be dozens of miles away.
Tuesday's roadshow kicked off a series that will continue with another meeting in West Salem next month. A third meeting in February will take place in the Central Sands region of the state. A date and location still has to be set. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has agreed to hear a lawsuit challenging 5 Wisconsin sheriffs' practices of holding detainees in their jail for handoffs to ICE. The lawsuit, filed by the ACLU of Wisconsin in December, names the Marathon County Sheriff's Office as one of the 5 sheriffs. The lawsuit is also challenging the Marathon County Sheriff's Department for notifying ICE of every person booked into the jail who was not born in the U.S., regardless of immigration status. The state's highest court will now decide whether these detainers constitute unlawful arrests under Wisconsin law. A new scholarship will honor former Alder and County Supervisor Gary Gisselman. The former District 5 representative on both the City Council and County Board passed away in August. The scholarship is awarded by the Community Foundation of North Central Wisconsin. It will be awarded each spring to a graduating Marathon County High School senior planning to continue their education in public administration and public service, history or historic reenactment, historic preservation or museology, or library science. The fund has already received over $1,000 from sponsors, and the community is invited to contribute. They hope to raise $10,000 in the first year. Donations can be made directly through the Community Foundation of North Central Wisconsin website. Wisconsin health officials are reminding residents that the open enrollment period for health care will close in a couple of weeks. The Wisconsin Office of the Commissioner of Insurance officials are encouraging residents to begin evaluating their coverage options as soon as possible, amid potential rate increases with the expiration of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. They're also warning residents that if they enroll for a health care plan after December 15th, their benefits would not begin until February. I'm Isabella Nieto for WXCO News.
The Bucks at home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks host the 76ers tonight. They'll be without Giannis Antetokounmpo for the next 2 to 4 weeks. He's got a strained calf muscle in his right leg. The Bucks are 10-13, but Doc Rivers says at least he's got Kevin Porter Jr. back, finally.
We haven't had him all year, and then, having him and Giannis out for that long stretch explains our record. Now we're back at it. We have him back now. And we may have Giannis out. We just got to figure out a way of winning games when all these guys are injured. And if we can get healthy, and I keep saying that, I like our team.
NFL, the Packers holding practice outdoors in 8-degree temperatures. They'll host the Bears Sunday. Jordan Love nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. The quarterback says helping kids from low-income families goes with the territory.
I think all of it kind of plays a part into it, and it's fun to be able to give back and to be able to impact people's lives.
That's the Packers' Jordan Love. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
It is going to be cloudy today with some light snow, less than an inch of accumulation with a high in the mid-20s. Tonight, more light snow possible, enough to make things a little slick. We're going to drop down into the mid to low teens. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high near 20. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable.
That's your Wausau News Roundup from WXCO. Find more news anytime at WXCO.FM. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts.